Stage number 4. One winner goes to Berlin. I'm Tash running alongside Donut, and we are currently watching match 2, map number 2, as we head to Breeze for Rising Hope versus Bren Victress.
Bren Victress showed us what they've got early on, right? It was a slow start. They were quite turtles, but once they found themselves in their own shell, it was basically impenetrable for them. And Rising Hope in the map of Breeze, which is Bren Victress's pick, it's gonna be quite a tall task for them to get this away from Bren. Because when it comes down to stats, right, we reviewed it a little bit on, you shared that Rising Hope didn't really have that much success from before, especially getting a very low score against their opponents from before. But now it's going to be a different picture because we saw the lawnmower strat, and it's very much possible for Bren Victress, not unless for Rising Hope, not unless Bren Victress actually does it against them.
I'm honestly curious to see, because previously we've actually seen Trix play on this particular map with the roster, and she went for a Reyna. Now the question is, would that be the same thing again? What exactly is the benefit of running a Reyna on this map is that you allow Reyna to just really do her own thing, play on her own, but the downside is if your team is down one person.
Yeah, I mean, the self-sufficiency of Arena is very much seen, but I would want to see that when the next patch comes in. The Leer of the Arena isn't going to be shown, at least because we're running on a patch 5.06. So I would expect the picks to be at least leaning towards what was at least comfortable from before, because it will still stand until today, right? Like the Chamber pick is going to be there. A staple, surprisingly, is still a Sova, but we've seen other teams actually run a Fade and still do well. So we expect that little bit of a change for both of these teams, not unless they just really want to be comfortable, especially Bren Victress, who just really want to close out the series, or for Rising Hope to just have that mental reset, have everybody comfortable, and maybe take this away from Bren.
I mean, statistically, we can see that Bren Victress does have a higher win percentage rate compared to Rising Hope. Now, if you want to talk about initiators, I think double initiators can work for both sides, given the fact of how big the map can be, especially in terms of pick potentials. Now, when it comes to how you want to play Breeze, that site control, not just site control, but area control is very important. How exactly are you going to be playing that mid site? How exactly are you going to be watching the site halls? Because for me personally, I've seen so many teams, how they take care of halls is by kind of like smoking the back side of it, so they're not able to get to backstab. But for me personally, I would like to see a more aggressive sort of control before door in general, just because it does not give you that pincer advantage to the site itself. Regardless though, I think that personally, I know you talked about a Fade and a Sova, but for me, I'm really liking a Fade and a KO. KO provides so much value with that knife. It's a big area that you can cover if you throw it either close or all the way to the back. Regardless though, if you look at the side of Rising Hope, they have 4 different compositions played. They have a whole lot of different compositions played, and none of them is really, really super played, but I am really interested in one of them, where they have this Yoru as well as a Cypher comp, which is very interesting. I highly doubt it's going to be there. There is one particular comp that we have seen before, which is a Yoru and a Fade, but that conditional win condition can be hard to pull off.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to execute, right? Especially if the Yoru lineups that you are able to offer are the ones that you run each and every round. Because once you actually are your opponents are aware of where these will be, it's easily shut down. Not unless you just really want to drive that. You've already practiced all of these Yoru plays, right? Then it could really get so annoying when it comes down to the site takes. But when it comes down to the site holds though, I would you mentioned the KO. And Alexi early on was the MVP for the team of Bren, and she was a battle sage. Any agent that she could pick, she would want to embrace the fight for her life type of strategy. And even as a KO, we've seen her play a KO in Breeze. She does so well with these quick flashes, and her teammates are there to like follow through and get the kills.
You know what's more interesting? I'm looking at the lineup list for Bren Victress, and one of their most used agent compositions include a Cypher. Now, really
That's gonna be
saying
for
I'm not-
Zinni, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm a big fan of Vipers, but it's always fun when you see one picked into the game. So I've had a discussion with Trix before, back when she was on panel, on what exactly you can do as a Cypher on Breeze. And she was saying to me that a more aggressive camera placement would be very, very great for the team instead of a more backwards. And I have to agree with her on that. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because I think both Chambers, both Vipers, both Skies, both mirror matchup. Wow.
Yep, I told you it's gonna be about comfort now, because at least for Bren Victress, they want to close this out. But at least for Rising Hope, right, they don't really want to make these risks anymore.
It comes
because
down
if
to
they lose
diff
it,
now.
yeah, it's gonna be elimination for them. So whatever is effective from before and whatever they're comfortable with, they will offer. It's just now down to both the timing and as well as how they play the map. What would be their priority? Is it gonna be mid? Is it gonna be the flanks? Or is it gonna be the first kills that they would want to take? Because that would really make the difference here.
I really want to see that puzzle pieces that is actually the sites, or at least the areas, hold on in particular, especially if you want to play on attack. We all know that it's a little bit easier to get on the site as attack, but as for defense, you need to be able to not allow them to take up so much space. Regardless though, as we all take a deep breath and just brace ourselves to see if this is going to be a 2-0 or a 1-1. Let's go to our casters, Sleepy and Zaya Aura.
Wow, a mirror matchup, Zaya. I mean, I love mirror matchup because then it comes down to creativity and what the differences are, the nuances are, and well, yes, we don't get to see more agents, but I feel like it's gonna be a very exciting matchup when it's a mirror one, because again, who's gonna be the most creative team here between Victress and Rising Hope?
It's all or nothing for them, and of course, to be fair, Bren Victress does have technically the match point game. If they do win this out in towards their own map, then they get to continue in towards our brackets. But then again, as the panelists and as you mentioned as well, this mirror matchup is not just about creativity. It's also about outplaying each other, how they use their utilities, the varieties, the timing. They have to think that all through if they do want to win this type of matchup. So without further ado, here, Sleepy, we are going to go in towards our game shortly, but just real quick, Sleepy, what are your expectations for this pistol round?
Okay, well, as we've seen in the previous game, Bren Victress, they are way more comfortable than Rising Hope are when it comes to executing and just going fast. So I do expect some really explosive entries and executes from the team. While Rising Hope, I do expect them to also match that later on in the second half. But for this first half, on the defense, they're probably going to be playing pretty aggressive as well. As you see, Aya, with a dash, will be able to get out into safety, but the trades are happening elsewhere. And 2 for 2 has already happened. That's not even done. That's not even the end of it just yet. It's now a 3 for 2 for the
Flashed themselves up, but Trick still was able to take one down. Ivory as well with a tap of her own. It's all up to Zinni with a very, very low HP. How is she going to make this work? She hears some footsteps, but up to what extent she is down, as Trick was able to see from the midst of this pyramid to get their pistol.
Don't even start that shit here, mate.
The playing aggressive part from Rising Hope, I think they've been pretty comfortable with this, on the defense. Put Aya in a forward position, and that she can always just escape as soon as she feels that there's trouble incoming. So that's what happened. And the trade's also it was quite effective for them, as they were actually stacking towards the A side. And so every time Bren Victress thought, oh, we got a side, then boom, suddenly there's a Rising Hope player just ready for them to trade. And it ended up working out for Rising Hope towards the end. Just wanted to point out one thing there. If you're in a clutch situation, if you jump up towards the mid area of the pyramid, that makes it awkward for you. Because if you want to drop down, that's going to be a down for you. If you don't, you can enemy. So anyway, getting into the second round, Bren Victress, they are going to go aggressive once again. But Rising Hope, they've got this under control.
I feel like
this is a situation of it takes one to know one kind of composition, because notice the pistol, both of them were aggressive, so it means that could have been their strategy either way. They kind of read Bren by the books, and of course in the wars the second round, this is to be expected, and I feel like this is more of a giveaway, to say the least, for Bren Victress, because they know that they do have the disadvantage in terms of weaponry. So I feel like in towards this third round, they are kind of expected to win this one though, because again, if they do let this skyrocket, this may be a similar situation for the side of our game one, which is basically Rising Hope, really rise to the top into what their first hop. So right now, they do make a bigger or a different scene, which is in towards our B site, planting the spike already with less than a minute to spare. Then right now it's more on full retakes. Much was able to spot her out with so close to Shirazi. Then again, Alexi popping off with the sky on a 2K did not actually consider the push from Trix in towards that B window. And right now, it's all up to these pretty ladies. 3v3, take note. This could be a cold last. That's one, make it another, make it another. Trix cut her down, but then Alexi was given the information to clean it up.
We talked about the expectations, and Bren Victress are fulfilling those expectations right about now. They are just going for it, right? And I'm loving it, because Bren Victress knows that they've made it work before in the second half towards that first game, and they can just do it again. And there's nothing really stopping them from doing this, except until Rising Hope responds with a solution. And so far, granted, that was only the first gun round. Now they're gonna see if they can replicate that first gun round and just go in fast without Rising Hope responding really fast. And Alexi with a swing as well is just gonna get that first kill. Again, they're just gonna go for it, no? Because that's opening up the space already without any real response from the defenders.
Indeed. And of course, I like it because this time around, Bren, they're already, equipping themselves with those double peaks so that they don't have any fear whenever they do try and attempt to peek. And it's working pretty well. Notice Whirly will start and then goes Alexi for the kill, but Shirazi so sneakily decides the confidence to push in towards Cave and spots out, hey, I see you, might as well shut you down. And that's what happens. So right now here, in towards this matchup, I'm loving the courage. I'm loving the confidence that we're seeing from Bren Victress right now. Look at the push from Whirly. And again, down by Gwen. Did not see her through McDonald's. That's what I call it.
I mean, understandable.
See? But then again, yeah, thank you, Gwen, for that quick scope of what I need. Then again, back in towards this A game, Sleepy, we're seeing it still. 3 versus 4. This is still tangible for the side, but look at that! Shirazi watching the flank, not letting them go into any entry points. And that is such beautiful. And you know what? That is basically the deciding factor for them to save this operator. Yeah. Exit frags, I guess, through and through.
They have to save.
Yeah,
there you go. Nice kill, but that's all they're probably going to get. You were saying that you're loving the confidence of Bren, but maybe a little too overconfident when too early was just going at Mags.
I mean, maybe she just wanted to check it out. She just wanted a little bit of intel because technically they do still have the manpower to spare.
That is
true.
Mean? But you know how this can be a slippery slope, this game. You know, you lose one, and then you lose another, and then eventually you find yourself in a 1v3 right from a 5v3. So, anyway, 2 for 2. Bren Esports, this is looking like who they really are from the previous game, and they're not stopping anytime soon. Twirly activated her dash already, ready to get it to the side, taking control just like that in the first 10 seconds. Another retake is imminent, Isaiah. Just like that.
Just like that. And look at how much they guard off the entry points. But then again, we are seeing some highlights for Rising Hope as well. Getting those taps done, especially when they're not looking at McDonald's. Guys, please just look at this. Just look at this angle. And again, then I can't really blame them because you have tunnels, you have beacon, you also have the actual site to look for. Anna as well, getting good with these taps of her Sheriff. Ali going with a trade, making
Shirazi as well, but then
Last
Hannah with the
player
surge
standing.
gets proactive with the map. Notice how she just goes around from backside. That is going to be the tap by Zinni. Shuts down her clone. Well, technically, because they're the same Viper, right?
Yes, I get what you mean to say.
Thank you. No, I'm not. You, because I'm kind of like defensive. Remember the feet thing?
All right, watch
Yes.
your girl. Well,
Spike
I thought
planted.
she was gonna wait for the snake bite to land before she swings, you know, with the double damage effect.
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
gonna be
yeah.
easier for her to get a kill, but you know what? She doesn't care. Boop. Headshot. Easy kill. All right,
Great one
see,
for the
Bren
highlights,
Victress,
too.
they're just gonna do this. Yeah. They know
Yeah.
this works. They're just gonna do it. So, Rising
I
Hope,
want
you
to
have to respond with a solution. Look at that! 2
Again.
seconds into the round, they're already towards the entrance of B, but this time
Oh.
around, Hannah, with the Viper's spin, will be able to shut Twirly down, stopping any progress whatsoever. But then, they found her, and yet again, within 20 seconds, we've got Bren Victress securing that
Spike
B side,
planted.
prompting a retake from Rising Hope.
Not even letting a minute to pass. Bren Victress here in lead. But of course, I do
Oh boy.
love this Hunter's Fury right now. Was able to dig down one, well, not as much, but then gets information nonetheless. Aya tries to enter from the backside, being to be greeted by Alexi. Right quickly, not gonna work. Aya does go for that shutdown.
enemy
Again,
remaining.
you see that tap from Ivory. Then the Cloudburst for extra
enemy
protection for the force gonna work out, but the clutch!
Do I get away with
The
these things?
clutch happens. Oh.
Oh boy. Just as it looked like Rising Hope was going to be able to retake, and just as Hana was getting some free kills within her Viper's spit, Bren Victress took control right back.
Oh, Shirazi.
Shirazi, good clutch. And these rounds, they were so fast! These rounds are barely 1 minute long.
Yeah.
And I think that's just going to be the trend. I think Bren Esports, they've got a movie to catch or something. They're rushing this game so much. And I think it's pretty effective. So why not?
But in all seriousness, though, the fact that Bren has been doing now time and time again so many speed. But then again, before I say my point, there is a trade that's going to happen from across the floor. That's a snake bite going out. And Alexi. What such a good follow-up there. And there's a headhunter who gets to win it out. Is it gonna be Shirazi with the taps, or is it gonna be Ivory with the headhunter?
Last
But no,
player standing.
in towards this map. With a double, make it a triple. A quick
God.
65-degree angle scope with that back there. You know, getting the grooves on. But again, back to my point. The fact that Bren Victress is playing these games at a fast pace, it means it's not just some sort of conditioning here, Sleepy,
No.
but the fact that they're being momentous here. They're not giving breather for RH, and this breather, which we're seeing right now, is basically the one that Rising Hope needs because of all of these games just happening so quickly.
They need to catch a breath. They need to slow Bren Victress down. Now, it doesn't mean that Bren Victress are going to slow down after this timeout, but at least Rising Hope, they're going to at least have a bit of a thought, right? Okay, guys, Bren Victress, they've been rushing us like crazy. They're just going B, they're just going A, B, A, B, A, B. Why don't we stack, for example? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe stack 3 players towards B, or stack 3 players towards A, or maybe stack 4 and play retake on the other side. At least
Indeed.
something that will allow you to respond in kind and not just get mowed down as Bren Victress are executing onto the sites. They need to respond with a different approach. Otherwise,
Definitely.
we're going to see the same result over and over again.
This is basically going for Bren to just snowball if this happens, but I don't know if this timeout would benefit Bren because again, when you're in the zone, when you're in a fast-paced games like these, you don't want to stop. And this was actually a good call for Rising Hope. Not just them being able to reassess or think what other ways they can do to stop this madness that's happening right now, but of course as well to give time so that in the zone moment for Bren Victress is to just come into a slowdown, stop, or
And
to
one
fade
more
out.
thing, sorry, Zaya, but one more
Go
thing
for
about
it.
these pauses, why it's good for Rising Hope is that sometimes it makes your opponents overthink a little bit, and it makes them change what's been working for them. So, for
Yep.
example, Bren Victress, it's been working out well for them to just rush into B or A. And because of this tactical pause from Rising Hope, Bren might think, oh, Rising Hope is going to change something up. So why don't we change something up in response? And then they end up just losing because they're playing something that's not what they want to play. Right? So there's that effect as well. So whether Bren Victors are going to change up or switch up their tempo or not, that's going to be up to them. But Rising Hope, just by that tactical pause, that's already, I think, pulling in some effects to help them win the next round.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this technical pause could be any better as well because it
Yeah,
kind of
well.
prolongs our minute timeout, right? So I feel like I wouldn't be too faltered too much for the side of Bren because one, it's been working out for them, and two, this could also mean that they can also think of more possibilities, not just to be fast paced alone, but they can also go for the strat of delaying the pushes
Yeah.
or going for fake rotates. Every possibility that also they can do because of this advantage, it's basically topping over the overthinking of one team from another. So at the end of the day, I love this mirror matchup, but then again, it's just more about the outplay.
Are you starting to overthink as well now that we have this pause?
I mean, as
I feel
as
like
a
I
person,
am.
yeah, I mean, I am too because
Thinking
I mean,
about
us casters, we have so much to say and yet so much possibilities, and
Yes.
this pause is, bringing in the suspense of
this
it all.
is a test for us. you
Yeah,
know,
this
like,
this pause is actually for us and not
For
for
us.
them.
yes, but it's also a test. Like, how much can we actually cover while
Yeah.
these pauses are happening? And so far,
How
I think
much
we're doing a
cake
pretty
can I
okay
sneak
job.
in?
But give us like 5 more minutes, and we're gonna be talking about like giraffes or
Yeah,
turtles
or the cakes,
or the cakes
yeah.
or wagyu and everything else in between.
But then again,
No, we're already Zaya. We're already talking about it. So this
yeah,
is
we're all.
this is us failing the test.
no,
All right.
no. We're not
I mean, it's been a
failing the
long
test
day, all right?
technically.
We've got
Yes.
so much technical pause today, but I hear the timer ticking, so I think
There
it
we
means
go.
we're back in the game. So, yay, we kind of passed the test.
We kind of passed, like passing grade, barely.
Yeah,
indeed.
barely.
Like, what's a passing grade? Like a B minus C or C?
I don't
So
know
bad,
where
right?
you're from, but mine, we use numbers here.
Oh yeah, right. I use numbers too. I just thought that some of our peeps, uses the letters.
You're right.
So yeah. But anyway, back into our game right here. See, this is what I'm telling you. But because the fast pace on those timeouts are done, now they're utilizing mid, which is interesting
Wow.
for the
We've never
fact-
seen this before. Never seen before in the history of Valorant. Utilizing mid? Are you crazy?
I mean, for this game, yes, we're
Yes.
quite crazy, yeah, because it's always A B, right? But
And this
now
is the
it's
thing
time
that we
for
talked
mid.
about, right? They might be overthinking this, Bren Victress. And you see, if you look at Rising Hope, they didn't change that much. They still have 2 players towards B. They still have towards.
Wait, Trix is on
A.
20 HP though, and as well, she
Hold
was
up.
dinked. She was
She
dinked.
was.
She
Oh my
was.
goodness,
So-
twirly, you monster.
Yes, she is beautiful monster. But then again,
30
they go
seconds
back
left.
again to B. You see that?
Oh my
I
God.
feel like that was just playing for time at that point.
Yeah.
Welcome to my
Still the
world.
same. Sleepy, I want you to take over.
Yeah, all right. They're still taking B whatsoever. So yeah,
Blocking sight.
they did change up the start of the round, but they did conclude the round the same way, unless Trix will have got a few tricks up her
10
sleeves.
HP.
10 HP, still alive, even getting a 3rd kill of her own. Finally gonna get shot down by Shiradzi, leaving Gwen in a 1v2. A bit of an awkward position. The TP was phenomenal, giving Ali the chance to just swing and get that final kill to secure the 6th of the round for Bren Victress. So, yeah,
Bren Victress was like, it's big brain time. Use your rendezvous strategy to just bait out, and then I go for the kill. And it worked! And that was so beautiful for Bren Victress. It just proves that they weren't faltered by that timeout.
No,
Maybe
the-
just a variety of
Yeah,
start.
the start of that round was like Bren Victress filling the words quota, the words requirement in an essay. They're still gonna go to B, but they need to say something more. And
Yeah,
they just spent a few
exactly.
more seconds towards mid and finally went into B. And this time it's back to the original Bren, going right back into the side with another beautiful entry from Twirly, opening up the side in a 5v4. Never mind that. 4v4, 4v3, make it a 4v3 maybe? Yes, it is. A 4v1 even. Come on, girls. What is this game?
The interesting part, I'll be mentioning that in a bit, but then again, Hannah right here trying to make things work for her team, but too much is a lot on her plate right now with the snake bites and those smokes. How could she even enter in towards mid doors, right? So the best bet would basically just save it out or go towards cave, whichever is deemed possible. But right now, she is gonna try and make the magic work, but up to what extent? Because look at how spread out Victresses are, and here, no time to spare as well. Yeah, she's just gonna save this at this point, just going for some exit frags, to say the least. But then, I'd like to go back to that point from earlier. Twirly updrafts already twice, right? And then she pots out Blade Thorns and whatnot. And I guess you still get one, but you'll go shut down by Lexi. But then, I was actually nervous that she wouldn't be able to get Ivory from Bridge because her updraft is starting to fade out. She's starting to fall down. But with that single knife, that single blade sword, see, look at that. Her vision was already covered by the pyramid, and yet that single knife was enough to take her down. And the speed once again working on favor of Bren Victress.
Speed is their name.
Indeed.
I think the B in Bren stands for speed.
Take flight.
Yes. Well, they're doing it again. They're just going straight into a drone out, dash in. Just go and take the side post plan, split from door, whatever you want to do. A side is where you're going to. And Hannah is having no more of that together with Ivory, getting two quick kills with the sheriffs. And with that, it's a 3v5. Finally, they're going to get slowed down. This time, not because they want to slow down, but because they were forced.
Right now, again, trades for both sides of the teams, but it's only up to Zinni. This time around, could this be the point for Rising Hope? But she still has the spike, so she does have options to basically rotate. But the Secret does spot her out in towards mid. It did not take that shot, though. So I guess this could call for, Takeover trying to make her presence known and towards mid. If she does get one here, however, Zinni may be able to take this clutch. Depends. You still have 30 seconds to spare. And I feel like the strategy for Rising Hope is to just go for the double peaks, right? Or to trade. But look, they're not looking at her direction, Sleepy.
Uh-oh. Let her plant. That is the strat, but if only Zinni thought about going through the door before planting the spike, that would have worked wonders. But of course, she has no time. She has to go and went to the plant, getting sprayed through the smoke. 36 HP. So that is enough for her to stay alive, but isn't enough for her to clutch the round. Of course not. As Trix and Ivory had the confidence to just swing on her. And with that, finally, RH found the answer, and that is Sheriffs. Go and tap heads with Sheriffs and a Headhunter, and you win the round.
I mean, at least they still have the extra 300, am I right?
Yeah, money.
We need that all through, but going here into this quick replay, the trades were very much good for both sides of the team. I guess it just so happens that taps were working for Rising Hope. It was a bit scuffed on how they were able to close that out, but still, whatever works, gets the job done, good. But for Rising Hope, they kind of need to climb it a little bit more. Objective now is to get that 5 points onto their scoreline before they go into the second half. Now, for Bren, I feel like the change of pace is slowly happening here because they're starting to see, I guess Rising Hope is starting to counter us down. We need another way to, bring back the early performances in the rounds.
It's forcing them to slow down, and I mean, it's not like Bren can't play slow, but it's just that we're so used to seeing them just go wild in the first 20 seconds that seeing them play until the timer is at less than 50 seconds is a bit unusual.
Yeah.
But
Indeed.
it might actually work in their favor now that they're converging towards A, because it's being lightly guarded on the side. Only 2 players are ready for this fight. But now they do have Aya. This might actually turn in their favor now that 3 players are defending the site. Let's see.
Oh!
30 seconds
Was
left.
able to knife out there, but then good timing. The recon ball is so essential. Was able to identify 2 from the pack,
Spike
and
down
this
A.
should
Oh.
now teachers as well to identify here. But Alexi takes 3, but Twirly going near already. This
What?
flash
Huh?
did not work. Actually,
What?
worked for
Spike
Tricks.
planted.
She did not let that flash go through.
One
And
enemy
she
remaining.
made it to the right time. The good baiting system, but Shirazi shuts her down before she could even go in towards the site. And now it's set up to our dear Hannah to make things work once again. Notice how she's the only member in the game.
Enemy remaining.
That's something. Actually, a spray transfer for Hannah. Sleeping. What happened?
What happened indeed?
I feel like.
Huh?
Oh wait, I feel like
Last round in the half.
like he accidentally flashed both of them, into which leads that they were not able to spot out Hannah's. Wait, but then again, that
But the
could have been.
spray.
I feel like it's a whiff, or that.
I mean,
Well, let's see.
probably.
A flash. A flash.
but it was
It's
so
a flash.
fast. It was so fast, Zaya. I don't think they had a chance to even think about what's happening. Hannah was just pew pew. 2 headshots, just like that.
Well, aim duels at the end of the day, right?
I mean, it's a shooting game, all right?
It
You
is,
gotta
right?
shoot.
So she got a pew pew her
And
way out
shoot
of
she
there.
did. Precise gunplay. 2 headshots.
Hannah, I was highlighting it earlier that she's the only member remaining for those clutches, and she manages to pull
yeah.
through. Look at her KDA;
Exactly.
she's already at the top of the charts.
Man. Beautiful. And the flash by Trex was also interesting, right? Because the flash kind of stopped
She-
mid-air.
Yeah.
And then it popped right as Twirly went into her vision. And that actually worked
She-
out in favor of Trix. So I have to
She
say, that
timed
was
it, I
an
think.
interesting sequence of events.
I feel like she timed it simply because
Right.
you have the option to pop the flash or not. But knowing that
Yes.
the Phoenix or the Hawk rather
The
was
Hawk.
stuck. So maybe she was just using it as, a body shield per se. But because Twirly was
You
there,
want to play?
maybe she
Let's
knew
play.
at some point that she could be flashed too. So maybe she tried to, big brain split decision moment
Yep.
in that play.
Okay.
Nowhere.
Something happened in flash. Flash. Hey,
Trades, just like that. But the spike, though, you have to take the spike with you as you execute into the site. Otherwise, you're going to spend
no.
some time recovering the spike while you're giving time for the opponents to recover in
Oh.
terms of position. But the shots are hitting and coming out of the Bren's, Victress's gun barrels. And those shots connected pretty nicely, leaving 2 players on the side of Rising Hope.
Alexi, trigger discipline for a bit right there. Also for Trix, tries to use the flash once again. That's a double flash, which he has to see. Who gets the Alexi? What's happening?
Oh, God. These
Oh, my
flashes
dear.
are making some of the awkward moments that
Switching
I've
sides.
never seen before.
Exactly, and same
So-
for me. I feel like these girls are on coffee at the moment. You know that
Yeah, the
rush,
jitters, the
the
rush.
sudden jitters. Yeah, it's evident. but
All
then
right.
again, you know what? Yeah, Sleepy, take us away. I mean,
Yeah,
take-
let's just
yeah.
toss this to casters. Let's just breathe, all right?
Yeah.
Sorry, not casters. Hosts, what do you think?
You know, when I came into the game just now and I said to take a deep breath, it was for a good reason because I have been screaming non-stop for the whole entire game. So let me just TLDR this for you real quick before we go into analysis. Number 1, Bren Victress just going brrrr. Number 2, that very long break, change in pace, go wow. Number 3, the birds, man, the birds.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're seeing both skies actually really pop off. Not just the flashes, but even when it comes to the frags, right? We see the confidence from Twirly as the Jet, but Alexi is oozing with it. Not just because, as we mentioned, right, these players from Bren Victress, they're very self-sufficient, and that's the reason why probably Arena was considered for this map. But no, Alexi is now embracing that pseudo duelist role for the team and just really pushing forward together with Twirly. And that's the reason why I think we've had a lot of these rounds that were just taking us breathless just because of how good they are. And Rising Hope, they're giving us rising hope that they could be able to take a 5-7, but immediately Bren Victress just really wants to say, no, our aggression and our speed, coupled with confidence, is the perfect formula in this attack.
I think one round that is very important to talk about when it comes to the speed is mostly just round 6, where the point where on B side on B side, what Hannah did was pop the Viper's pit. Even before Hannah could prep the pit, they were already running onto site. Their sheer confidence was just insane to the point that they're willing to actually challenge that Viper's pit. They had a nice little, I would say, pincer coming through, and they managed to get Hannah off the site. And it was a bit of a shame because even before her teammates could come to anchor with her, she was already out of the way. And on top of that, the mind games are coming through here because of that timeout that we saw from Rising Hope all the way in round number 8 just now. And we saw also a change in strat by Bren Victress, insisting on taking up the mid side here. So this change of strat, I would say that it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because you saw a change in Rising Hope, but at the same time, Bren as well doing the same thing is just not allowing them to do that. But just like what we saw in the early just now's match, it looks a little bit better for Rising Hope when they are on the Thrifty. Regardless though, we want to see if Rising Hope can bring this back. So I'm going to pass it over to Sleepy and Zaya Aura. Take it away, my friends.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
I like the TLDR, summary of
The summary of what's been happening.
yeah, I mean, if I
Number
were
3,
those as well,
birds.
yeah. I mean, if I were the host alongside with her or with them as well, I would say the same thing. Because,
You're right.
man, like these games, what Sleepy,
Hmm.
you got me right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this game started in the second half of that first map, where Bren Victress decided to not care and just rushed every single round. And now
This
they're
is
finally on the
YOLOing.
defending side, so they can't really do that. You know what? Never mind. Correct me. Because they're actually just doing what they did in the first half, which is just push, push, push. Meanwhile, they
Exactly.
let beef for free. So now they're
Which
just
is
gonna go for
interesting.
5-5 retake.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, anything can happen as possible at this point. So Spike has been planted. Everyone is gathered. It's up to the discipline. Who gets the
timing.
Oh no! The timing not in favor of Ali. She was about to dish out the recon, but that's gonna be not anything. But Shirazi though was able to get Ivory for the team. Now we do see the Trailblazer once again tries to dash in, spot out of Gwen. Right click it through, success. But how to what extent though? Because Shirazi goes for the shutdown. We do see it here. Zinni spots out too,
no
making
way.
another for her name. And we do see Mondo
There you
place
go.
from Trix. Beautiful prioritization of targets, because I feel like Trix was in B main, if I'm not mistaken. She was able to spot out Shirazi on the backside and then swiftly transitions to Zinni afterwards, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, but she was just
right?
behind the poison cloud.
Yeah.
And she did choose the target that was holding a weapon first, so
Yeah.
that was pretty good. And yeah, it came down to the clutch, but I still think it was a little bit rough for Rising Hope there on the post plant, allowing Bren Victress to even come close to the spike. And it was
Yeah.
down to a 2v1 actually, so the clutch was really what made it work for Rising Hope. Otherwise, it could have been a different result. And now we're still seeing Bren Victress do their thing, just pushing and pushing. The flash is good, but only a classic, not the best equipment to go with that. Still, they managed to get 2 kills, 2v3 now. Not that much of a chance, to be honest, still, with only classics. 3 headhunter ammo. That might be the difference maker, but who knows?
I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe Shirazi can utilize this with ease, but that's
Two
already
left.
one spent.
Spike planted.
Spike is planted on towards back site over here. I think they do
Teleport's
know that one is in caves. And because of that, Shirazi already being detected towards middle doors. It's up to Ali to actually shut down Gwen in here if they want to make things work. And I like the strategy wherein they pick up the Spectre just so that Bren won't have anything to utilize later on. That's going to be Hannah with one down. One for
Okay.
Shirazi as well. Goes down quickly into stairs. Hides her way to middle doors just for some safety net. But she has a lot of angles to consider. Spots out a Gwen peeking. But Ivory's also there. And a quick sheriff tap gets their second point. Now, this is actually, this round that we're going to be heading on is where the things are going to start off for Bren.
Yeah.
If they are able to win this, because technically this is bonus for RH, maybe they can go back into the groove that they had on the first half, unless RH does really connect all of these taps, you know, and just shut them down again.
Yeah. Guns are now available, and Rising Hope are not like some of those teams who love to buy in their bonus, so it should still be relatively easy for Bren Victress to get this round. However, the aggression from Aya is not unlike what we saw from Bren Victress. Shirazi, though, surviving very nicely towards breaks, even getting a third kill. That is just a total shutdown from this individual. Finally gonna get traded, but the damage has been done, and I think the coffin is ready for Rising Hope, at least for that round. And yes, we do have the 69 score. Nice.
Nice. But anyway, again, it is to be, you know, expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But
again,
this
we've
hold
been-
by Shirazi was just phenomenal. I would
yeah,
say.
it is. You have to commend Shirazi here, but she's like the silent type for the team, you know, like she's not sometimes in towards her feed. We do see Alexi, we do see Twirly as well as Zinni with all of their utilities, but Shirazi's the one basically, you know, she's the one who closes. She's the one who secures. She's like the advisor of the team. Like, okay, you know what, guys, I got this area. Go and do your groove, and I will be taking these enemies down. And for pre-aims, you gotta commend Shirazi for that.
Oh, yeah.
Her anticipation level is so strong, and that's very witnessed since Bind.
Fundamentals wins games. Aya almost losing her life there. Also lost her knives.
I wonder if I
23
got
HP.
if I get the chance to play with these ladies.
With these ladies, I'm
Yeah.
sure one day you'll get that chance.
I hope that's my bucket list, if you know that,
Alrighty.
to play with them. But
Trades.
anyway, yeah. Trades across the floor over here. Viper's Pit is going
Spike
to
planted.
go down. And this would make things harder, but then Zinni was able to get Aya
Corner.
down as well. Check out your corner! Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, but
player
Shirazi
standing.
is there to frag Hannah as well. Oh, a little bit of a whip there from Ali.
Survives.
And Gwen cleans it up.
Yeah, labored spray from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
A bit awkward on the retake, not checking that ninja
Spike
corner.
planted.
Almost always have to check that, boys and girls. It's a deadly one, and yeah, it cost them the round. So now we're seeing Bren Victress taste their own medicine, right?
Yeah.
Look at how Rising Hope have been approaching these rounds. They're just rushing into the sides as well, just like what Bren Victress did. And Bren Victress, they should have known that this was a possibility. This is a mirror matchup, right?
Yeah.
They have exactly the same lineup. They have the exact same utilities. And so the
They're
possibilities
pushing mid?
of executes are endlessly the same. So now they're taking mid. They are going ultra aggressive. They are spotted though. Gonna be responded in kind. Are they gonna finally win this battle with a flash that's gonna help the attacker's side? The attacker's side are still gonna be the ones falling behind in this trade, with Twirly getting that opening kill. And Shirazi gonna let go of the A side to hope for her teammates to come close before getting on with this retake.
This is so nifty. Look at the positions of Bren right now. I do like it how Twirly does go for the flank and still gets Ivory down. Anna for the trade, but Shirazi with the op kill. And this is all just up to
Last
one
player
then, but
remaining.
Aya not anticipating her presence there. Zinni and Alexi with those kills as well. Enough to really close off this round. And Sleepy. We did mention here that they are getting a taste of their medicine, but right now, I feel like they're starting to realize that. Like, they know that at any point in time, that Rising Hope can have some varieties in their tactics, so might as well go for flanks, go for the sides of the map, and it worked wonders for them.
And that's exactly what we didn't see Rising Hope do in the first half, right? They were just waiting for Bren Victress. They were just accepting that Bren Victress was just going to come into the side in the first 20 seconds without applying new strategies like taking mid-controller,
You
for
want
example.
to play?
And
Let's
that's exactly
play.
what Bren Victress did, and they found results instantly. And this shows that Bren Victress are more ready for this map. They are more tuned to what they need to do to respond to certain scenarios. And Bren Victress, they're showing us why they picked this map. So far, so good. And Rising Hope, they're going to be the back foot once again with very limited weaponry. And so this looks like Bren Victress is going to come down to 11 rounds.
Depends if these taps do connect though, because we've seen some magic happen from Rising Hope, especially with the sheriffs at play. I guess it's just about positioning. Look at their position right now. They're too crowded, and more chances of being controlled is there. But then again, you see,
Spike down.
wait, what? The Trailblazer takes Gwen down. Well,
Right.
which is understandable because the Trailblazer does have, that one trick and cuss. So this is going to be the Spike Plant 2 versus 3. Look at that. Swirly. Careful on your side. You are not looking. And again, Tricks with a collateral. Hello, barbecue. Tricks can have one. But Tricks, again,
See,
it's those ninja spots.
yes, it's those corners again and again. When you're clearing for the retake towards B, you have to check two places. The box towards Broken Wall and the ninja spot towards the entrance of B main. And 2 times now we've seen them not check those angles, and 2 times now we've seen them lose rounds because of that. So Bren Victress, you gotta fix those, of course. And it was a bit of a thrifty for Rising Hope because they actually found kills, man. So good, so good.
The miracle, the power, the magic is there.
Yeah, but Shirazi's already taken control towards B again, so yeah, this is a good read for Bren Victress towards
Oh, but as you say, it's Tricks, however, does take down Alexi. Oh, both of them are low on it. Right click from Ivory. And it's only up to Shirazi once again. I mean, this is understandable since they were saving, but then Ivory takes the op and making things more exciting for us.
Sir. 9 to 10. And it was this thing that we talked about on Icebox before, right? Which was in the previous matchup. Which is, if you're flanking, you need your teammates to survive long enough for you to find value on your flank. If you're flanking and your teammates on the side are just dead, then you're not flanking anymore. You're just pushing alone.
Yep,
So,
I agree.
That's what happened. And again, granted, it was an eco round, so not much to be expected. And now Brand Victors are going to start to think about how they are dismantled by Rising Hope, just like that, with the exact
Call
same
for a
lineup.
timeout.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
timeout. This is very crucial for them.
Truly. I mean, this is, as you mentioned it in the very beginning that we did, they can't really afford too much fast pace as what they've done to their attacker's side. So this defensive side of Bren Victress is basically forcing them to just, lay back. But the problem, however, is you did mention once again tasting their own medicine. But I think at this point, it's just more on outplay. Because right now,
even if there were like utilities that are thrown across the board, there were information, it's not, it's not reflecting because they're being shut down immediately. And because of, at least one or two members absence in that certain fight, it's kind of really hard to go for those follow-ups. So now here for the side of Rising Hope, they're just capitalizing on this advantage.
And we see here now Bren Victress doing the thing that I was mentioning. That is, if you're starting to lose rounds because your opponents are just pushing and pushing and pushing, you got to start stacking. And that's what they've chosen to do. And they stacked A, unfortunately, leaving B for free. But now, because they left that side for free, they're going to be able to retake with a 5v5 situation. And if they have the utilities, if they have the discipline to wait for each other, I think this could work out really well, especially if they can trade. Unfortunately for them, Rising Hope, they do not let the trades happen. In fact, they're just cleaning up, only giving Twirly a kill for now.
This is so difficult. 4 versus 2. They have a lot of angles to consider once again. And I think this could call for a save for the side of Bren Victress, which is actually a smart move. Because at this point, if they do get shut down once again, economy is going to get damaged. And I feel like they do need to rethink once again of what needs to be done. Because they're being shut down. For earlier, you noticed how Bren is the one not really giving them a breather, but right now it's just, getting
It's
back
the
to them.
exact opposite.
Yeah.
It's the same thing we saw in the previous half. So
See?
I don't know why. It seems that Bren Esports are not aware of their own playbook and how to counter their own playbook. Because I can honestly say that what Rising Hope are doing are pretty much the same as what we saw from Bren. So
Truly.
I would love to see more of those mid pushes that we've seen some of the rounds, right? So that
Yeah.
Bren can also predict where Rising Hope are going and maybe do a faster rotation. Right now, they're just sticking onto the side, and this time it works out pretty nicely. So maybe this time we're gonna see a different result by doing the same thing they've done before.
What? Poorly with the 2 before getting shut down by Ivory. That was actually pretty risky, to say the least. But right now, we do see one. That is information. Alexi with the tap. Gets one down. That's going to be the flash. Makes it not another as Hannah goes for
Enemy
the
remaining.
trade-off. But Zinni with the push as well uses the smokes. They do know that Ivory is in here in the vicinity. They just have to wait. And that waiting game paid off. It paid off.
I don't get it. It's literally the same as before, right? They didn't really stack A. They are also facing the same thing that Rising Hope was doing in the previous rounds. But the difference this time around is that Aya was just going as if there was no one on side. And I think that's a mistake on their side. And the only thing that Bren Esports really did this round was capitalize on those mistakes. And I have to commend them for that. If you can find mistakes and capitalize on them, you're doing a great job. And Bren Victress showed us that they were capable of doing that. So they just need to maintain that. But also, they can't rely on their opponents making mistakes. They need to find something on their own.
Now we do see the signals coming in right now. I'm pretty sure that didn't heard those audiences, but Alexi takes one down here. It's gonna be another. We see a running eye over here in Trix and Gwen. Will the kid over. Oh, the Tarazi's so swift. It's so swift, but Ivory is to greet her from those tunnels. And now it's a 2v2. Quite of a fair fight. The spike has been planted. Recon ball. I'm pretty sure saw at least Trix from that area. Now it's just basically up to them to make this. Trix has been detected. Ali with a 1, but Ivory goes for the trade cloud burst as well. Tries to fake things off.
Smart.
Oh, they tried.
Good big brain time for Twirly. She uses the cloud burst to fake out the attempt to defuse the spike. But then she just goes out. She uses her cloud burst as a temporary terrain, and I love it.
Yeah. The initial at this point, the initial trades are just formalities, right? It all just comes down to those last moments, the clutches, and then we see the difference maker in each of these two teams. And that time around, it was Twirly making use of the cloud burst and the post plant position. That was a bit awkward since Chamber positioned herself in a position that was not in a view of this spike. So Ivory was forced to push into this diffuse, and Twirly made use of that. And RH, sheesh, I wouldn't want to be in their position right now. They've been
Indeed.
working so hard. They found some success, and then suddenly everything just stopped right as they felt a bit comfortable going into the A side in the previous 2 rounds, where Aya was just going into the poison cloud, knives out, and then getting caught by Twirly. And from then on, it feels like Bren Victress, they found the groove yet again to try and stop RH this time.
Definitely. And this timeout is an all or nothing moment for RH, because this is the point wherein they cannot afford to make any more mistakes, because basically they're hanging on by a thread in here, and they need to reflect it into a point if they do want to
play?
continue
Let's
on and
play.
that is going to be the cue for Ivory's tour de force right now. I'm not sure if it's beneficial. After Swirly here gets a quick hook, and another one, beautiful thing in there. He knew the he's making a triple Twirly. Twirly is making things like a hurricane right now. Everybody on her name. And a beautiful rendezvous from Shirazi. He takes a quick peek.
One
Tour de
more.
force not even being used, and that is it. Sleepy Red Victress advances to our bracket. Look at how happy they
Oh
are
my
right now.
god.
The happiness, that all of these efforts are worth it. You see
Yeah.
that beautiful kiss from
Yeah.
Shirazi, Zinni to Shirazi. You see that?
Yes,
Beautiful. And it's just the start, Sleepy.
it is. It's just the start for them now, because I feel like they've somehow found their groove again towards that later half of the game. And this is a good sign for Bren Esports. They need to carry this momentum towards the next phase of the lower bracket. You have to keep in mind that they are playing again today, so fatigue is going to be one factor. They're going to be tested in terms of their stamina. So let's see if they can keep up with the rest of the teams. Of course, they are going to be facing another team later in lower brackets. Props to Rising Hope as well. Unfortunately, they're going to be eliminated from the Game Changer circuit from that loss to Bren Esports Victress. Good games from them. They've showed us some really good potential. They showed us that they can match the pace and tempo that Bren Victress was dictating, and even gave us some good rounds off of that. So in the end, though, only one winner, and that's Bren Victress. So that's it.
Yeah, and of course, this is Sleepy. My name is Zaya. We are going
Thank
to
you.
pass it on to our panelists, and we hope to see you guys again.
Zaya and Sleepy, thank you very much. And I have to say, in that particular round, a dominating round from Bren Victress. Congratulations to them for heading forward. And unfortunately for Rising Hope, this is where it ends for them. Regardless, Rising Hope really showed us a very strong round, especially toward the middle side there, where they began to find the momentum once again. Now, this is the question though when it comes to Bren Victress, is that how exactly are they having these mid-round recoveries? Because for me personally, it can be very frustrating, especially when you get caught out in those really what Sleepy calls it is ninja corners. I call it emo.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just also, it's a mirror matchup, right? And we can talk about the endless possibilities. But I feel like the difference between the two is that Bren Victress really provided more creativity in the map. They were so quick when it comes to their responses, and they would immediately rotate off of it. And when it comes down to these quick reactions as well, we're seeing it in the frags. And even in the defense, right? We saw these moments wherein Bren Victress would really tackle on these duels one by one, isolating them. But if I have to really give my hats off to somebody, it's gonna be Shirazi.
Shirazi
She is the one to really turn heads here. Basically, the reason why Zinni gave her a kiss towards that cam is because You did it for the team, right? These were long rounds, but she was still standing.
Honestly, Shirazi has been really impeccable, but I also really want to give it to Twirly as well. Her multi-frags has been incredible to the point that even if there was a tour de force on the other side, she is ready to challenge and take it down as well. So here's Shirazi, as you mentioned, 29-14, as opposed to our controller Hannah with a 19-19. Now Hannah as well had a phenomenal round when we've seen her. She's been a great anchor and she's great, especially for that bandage situations where she's able to do it, taking a lot of, I would say, pressure off Trix's shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to the frags, right? I think the discipline for Trix is seen through Hannah. I think even online, Hannah would call Trix ate. And that's called sister.
Aww.
Basically, the respect is there. So we see that discipline through Hannah, right? But as mentioned, it wasn't just really seen all throughout consistently with the rest of the rounds. There were rounds wherein they should have already gotten it, but Bren Victress just really comes out on top. But I do have to give it to Hannah as well. Remember that clutch wherein she sprayed transferred
That's
a 1v2?
insane.
That was just insane. We were all screaming. Not in the backside, but we were all screaming here in the background. You couldn't hear us, but we were all screaming because these rounds are so close and it just comes down to the wire. Look at this. At least when it comes to first kills, it goes to RH. But as mentioned, the creativity is shown. That's why they still get 13.
I think when it comes to Bren Victress, what they do right is mostly in terms of taking up space. They're very proactive in taking up the space and not allowing RH to take that. Yes, we did see RH sort of break the code and run to the other side, but their retakes as well has been absolutely phenomenal. RH has had some really good rounds, especially when they play aggressive. But at one moment, it seems that when RH falters or starts to overthink, that's when Bren Victress will really stop. And they are a team that really runs on momentum. So it's always really important to remember, for if you're going against Bren Victress, do not give them an inch because they will absolutely take a mile.
Well, they're known to be a team that really takes space and they will do it no matter what. But I also really noticed that all of these plays that RH would be able to do, Rising Hope is able to do, it's as if they're copying some of these plays from the strat book. Yes, you were able to take these space, but then immediately they take down notes and then they rip off a page and then they apply it to their own. And that's the good thing about Bren Victress, right? Their ability and their coordination as a team is so high.
It's very, I would say, methodical. It's as though
Yes.
each player is a gear in a clockwork. And once
Definitely.
everyone plays together, it's as though they are reading each other's minds in terms of how they move, how they position, and how they react to that information. I'm so sorry for cutting you off just now. But for now, we are going to our interview with Bren Victress, our winners that will be going on and moving forward in this tournament. Hello!
Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi, Zinni.
Oh, you guys are
Hello.
so adorable. Okay, so I have so many questions to ask you guys, and of course, I saw you guys kissing Shirazi, and so why exactly? Because Donut says that because Shirazi was the playmaker, but why did you guys kiss her?
Cause she's just really herself right now. Like, she always carry us in screams, like with Chamber, and she really showed up today. And I'm just so happy. I'm just happy as her big sister.
Oh,
When it comes down to Shirazi's plays, right? As the Chamber though, usually we would see her play as a Viper here. How have you done your own strat changes to this specific map? Because I know that you like Breeze so much, that's why you selected it.
Yeah.
But the changes though, can you tell us and walk us through it?
The change up was I think because we gave her the Chamber role because she has a really good aim, and like me, I personally find smoke controller as fun as initiator, but I just ano ba? I just find controller fascinating, and our coach also told us that we really suit what we're playing right now as Viper and her as Chamber. Like we just really compromise with each other and make the things work. Yeah.
All right, so in this tournament, can you tell me what is the biggest obstacle that you are facing?
Biggest obstacle, probably it's just us against ourselves because we're not playing our game, we're playing their game. Like we have our own play, but we don't really do it sometimes because we're out of it. Like we just don't know what to do sometimes, and then yesterday we reset so hard. We talked it out, and yeah, we solved it. Yeah, we learned.
I'm so
from our
glad that you
mistakes
guys solved
yesterday.
it. I'm so glad that you guys solved it because now you guys will be moving forward and having another match later. So congratulations for surviving another day on VC Game Changers APAC Elite. I'll see you guys later. Congrats again.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations! Bye.
They're
Another
so
cute. They're
They're
just
so
so happy. Yeah. I mean, they've had a lot of changes, but as you mentioned, right, if the cogs actually just mesh together like they did if they play their own game and not the game of their opponents, then their mental is just so fit. And that's the reason why they actually won this series a 2-0.
Yeah, I think it can actually translate from their morale as well as their confidence as well on how they take space and how they play, as well as their mid-game recoveries has been insane. But props given as well to Rising Hope because they played as best as they can as well. Regardless though, because we are going to be going to our next match of the day, Tash Bunny as well as Donut, we're signing out because we are about to be replaced. We'll see you guys soon. Have a nice day.